and welcome to Today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and we have a packed show today. As always, we have our Mayor Scott Galvin with us, but we also have two special guests. Roberta is joining us from Riverside Community Care Center, and we're going to talk a lot about the services that are available to us as people are struggling through and working through all kinds of challenges, how we can be there for each other. And I am so excited that Andrea is joining us because we get to talk about lasagna, and I'm hungry and haven't eaten all day. So Andrea, my mouth is watering already, and I can't wait to wrap up the show with you today. So with that, Scott, welcome.
Welcome.
You know, Scott, I got to tell you, I'm a little depressed because you can have your window open and it doesn't bring light because it's getting dark outside already.
Now it's 4:30. It's pretty depressing, is right.
So, you know, we'll have to get used to that. Excuse me. I do wanted to chat a little bit, Scott. We held our first of, I think, weekly sessions of free COVID testing for Woburn residents this weekend, and understand that it was jam-packed and we had lots and lots of folks come by. Can you just share a little bit about that effort and what we might have learned?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was an excellent turnout, a great service for the residents of the city of Woburn for a couple of reasons. And number one, it's free. It's a good service. Number two, the idea is, particularly with the surge that we're seeing across the city, the state, the country, the intent was really to identify those people who might be asymptomatic or might think they have it but not sure they have it, and give them a quick, easy opportunity to get tested. And then, if they test positive, then we can start isolation and quarantine and contact tracing a lot sooner and hopefully minimize the spread. So that's one of the good reasons to do it. The second one, of course, the positivity rate in Woburn jumped up last week. And everybody says the more testing you do, the better off you're going to be for a number of reasons. And the positivity rate could eventually come down if you do more testing, coupled with people seeking more tests at different medical institutions. So it'll help in a number of ways. And it was really just a good effort. We pulled it together last week in the middle of the week and came together pretty quick. Thanks to the DPW was great helping out, Lenny Burnham and his guys, Jay Duran, Chief Rufo. The MRCP, that's the volunteer group. They were excellent. That's David Hunt, Steve Morris. There's a bunch of others, and they volunteer their time to help Armstrong, who administered the anterior swab PCR testing. So it's not that everybody was asking, is it the one that goes the deep one? It's not. It's the PCR. It's a good test, and results generally back within 24 hours. So we're working the kinks out. We had about 500 people show up, and I'd have to say the positivity, the positive cases were higher than I expected. Let's put it that way. So.
Well, we don't want to hear that, but it's good that we know that. So,
right.
I mean, the point of this testing, particularly as we're about to go to Thanksgiving and things, is for people to hopefully identify if they present a potential danger to.
That's right.
To their gatherings. So, are we doing it? I think I heard every week through Christmas. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, weather dependent. This weekend's supposed to be great weather. So early outlook. So we're definitely on for Saturday. We expect probably a little bit bigger crowd, given that the first one came together very quickly. So we expect crowd. People should just be a little patient. Maybe bring a book with them, a newspaper. It takes about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes to get through it. Thereabouts. But like I said, if you're patient and you plan on the wait, it's worth it.
Yeah, and just for those folks who are watching, so the test itself is really a fairly easy swab. We've had some family members who have done it, but it is also a PCR test, which is important because it is a different test because it goes out to a lab and it has tends to have more accurate results. Some of the rapid testing that has been done in other places. So this is a great opportunity to get some pretty good data for yourself, for your family, if you have any concerns about exposure. We also have been doing teacher testing, but teacher testing has been limited to 200. And I think that doesn't fully cover all the staff, if I'm correct.
That's right.
So will we be able to expand some of that staff that hasn't been covered in this other testing? Although I know they don't all live in Woburn, so there's some.
Well, here's the one thing, Samantha. We do the testing for teachers. We offered that 2 weeks ago. for up to 200, and we do it every Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. Right now, we've been averaging for the past about 100 teachers per week. We'd like to see more, but again,
Okay.
I think it's one of those things that, if teachers want to do it, we're offering it. We think it's a good,
Okay.
it's a good opportunity. We'll probably extend it. We're going to be talking about this and finalizing it tomorrow. Extend it to all city employees and try to fill up those 200. It's not mandatory. It's only if the teachers or the city employees want to do it. So I think it's a good offer to our employees if they want to know, or if they're looking to get, like you said, more data on themselves and their family. But it's clearly voluntary, and we think it's a good offer for our employees.
Okay, that's great to know. I read a couple of teachers that they thought they had, like, it had sold out, but it might have just been that they were too late in signing up, because it sounds like we have the capacity at least at this point for anybody who'd like to
We
participate.
definitely do, and they have a sign-up deadline of Wednesday, by the end of the day. So.
Okay, that's great to know. I did take a walk in Horn Pond on Saturday myself, and I got to tell you, I was super impressed. I mean, I've always found most people wearing masks, but it's sort of hit or miss on some of the walking. 100% of the people that I encountered going around the pond were wearing masks. So and I don't know if the cold weather encourages people, keeps you a little bit out of the wind also as a second benefit, but I was really impressed to see.
Yeah, I agree with you, Samantha. Same thing. I've been around a couple of times, and it's at least, 98%, 90, most people, you see very few without the mask. And the ones who, they should have a mask on, they should have it. But the ones who don't have a mask, I think they're on the other side of the street, or they're, moving very quickly and not, I think respecting people's space too.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that, even walking around the neighborhood a little bit when I don't have quite the luxury and time of a full Horn Pond walk. So I think people are trying, which is great. We're giving them data, which is great, which is incredibly helpful. I didn't get a chance to participate in the city council meeting that happened, but we know that I think the Leahy permit for opening up the drive-through center, which again is not a free site, but is an extension of their facilities to expand their capability of doing testing in the area. Was that approved during that meeting?
It was approved Tuesday night, and the council moved it very quickly, and I give them a lot of credit for that. Lindsay, the president, they moved it very quickly, and they, when they have to, they can move things expediently, which they did, and it helps the Winchester Leahy group. They'll be, like we talked about, it's testing for network patients who are part of the vastly expanding Leahy Winchester network.
Yeah, and I think a lot of folks who have their doctors in the area certainly probably have privileges at those hospitals. So I think that'll help a lot of folks have access. I do know that some of the other urgent care facilities seems to have run low on tests, perhaps. Some of them were, I know, not taking the walk-ins for a recent test. I assume they would for someone who's symptomatic. Yeah. But I guess the reason I mentioned that is just say we have these great resources. If you need testing, you might want to call ahead. Some of the places of adjusting the service levels they're able to provide, I assume, by testing and availability of staff and all the things that are affecting folks. So it's great to know there's new options that are coming on board. Yeah. Great. Anything else on COVID that you want to share before I ask a couple other things?
Well, we went over last week how the governor changed the standards. That's a new thing. We had a very busy week as far as new COVID cases, that the most cases that we've ever seen in a week since this has started. So that's a little concerning. So we'll be seeing this Thursday, we'll be seeing bigger numbers in our daily case averages, and we're hoping we can at least keep a lid on the positivity rate for now.
Okay. At this point, do you anticipate any immediate action in schools or other facilities based on this week, or is it a watching very carefully for a while?
It's a continued vigilant watch, and in touch again with the superintendent and school committee chair, Ellen Crowley, regularly to talk about what's happening. They had 7 new cases in the school this week that were spread out, which is, again, it's a concerning number, but we're watching where they are. There's no clusters. They're spread out throughout the schools. And, we're really taking the approach that as long as we can ensure the safety of the students and the teachers and staff, that we're going to keep moving. And if we have to close a classroom or, a grade or even a school, we'll take that approach, as we go forward.
Great. Excellent. I don't know how much you've caught up on. There was some discussion in the last library trustee meeting about a panic button. So we had one at one point. It was uninstalled for whatever reason. It doesn't matter, I suppose. And there was some question about it being reconnected, I guess is the word that I heard used. Do you know anything about the current status of that?
Yeah, first of all, let's talk about that, the trustees' hearings. And I think that the comments were clearly regrettable and unfortunate statements. But the system, the panic button system, has been in place since the library's been open. It's a wireless, not hardwired. It's wireless right into American Alarm. There is a button down in the children's room, and there are two, I think, on the circulation desk, which has been moved. So it's active. It's working. I think there's been some miscommunication that it's actually not working. Maybe questions were asked, not answered, but it's clearly working. I got a call this Saturday that one of the staff members pushed the panic button in the children's room. It's definitely working. And as I said, it was designed with 3 panic buttons when we built the library. And there are 3 there that are now working. And you don't need 2 on the circulation desk, so they'll be moving 1 somewhere else. And they all should be trained on how they work and what they're there for. So a little miscommunication, and unfortunately there was the unfortunate statements in that trustee meeting.
Yeah, I do think they were deeply unfortunate. And I won't speak, ask you to speak on behalf of those folks, but thank you for giving us an update on that. I think that's great. Certainly there may be reason to move locations since the reconfiguration of the lobby area and the checkout areas are different now, but it's good to know that the ones who are available are working. So
to reiterate, when the building was designed, it was clearly designed with that, with that goal in mind for the protection and safety of the staff and the patrons who come in those situations where something bad could happen. We spent a lot of money on the security systems in there, a lot of money on the cameras. It was designed with sight lines for safety because there are some blind spots, but clearly safety was a big concern when the building was designed, and that system was part of the design. With the panic button, the system was, like I said, built for that purpose.
Good. Well, we're glad to hear that. I know we continue to have some challenges with community involvement in the trustee meetings, and I'm somewhat optimistic that we will be able to improve that over time, and that that sort of meeting and the sort of interactions that we had there, we can work on fixing, because I think we all agree it was a regrettable experience for folks and not how we want the city to be represented.
No, not at all. And I appreciate your comments and your communications with me, on these matters. So we'll work through them and get the community's best interests at hand here.
Great, thank you. I think that's everything that I had for you, Scott. I really appreciate you joining us as always. You always make the time, and I know it's busy, so thank you very, very much.
Thank you. And then maybe next week we can talk about, Brian will tell you, we did just sign extensions on the Verizon franchise for 5 years and RCN for 10 years on those cable contracts, which helps us continue to pay for this great programming, which you're part of, and I know a lot of.
Just to be clear, I don't make any money. I just want to be really clear on that. This is completely volunteer, folks.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, all this professionalism that you get is out of the kindness of my heart, Scott.
Good work, but thank you. That's all.
Yeah, thank you for the update. While that is true, it is my great pleasure to be able to provide the service to the community. And in the back end, there are costs, right? There are really real costs of infrastructure and equipment and full-time staff like our producer, Jen, and Lauren and Brian and team who work really, really hard. I get to show up and ask questions. They do the real work, and we're really grateful for that. And glad to hear that those contracts will be extended so that we can continue to deliver it.
Good. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Well, Roberta, I'm so glad that you've been able to join us. Is it Biscan? I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your last name.
It's Biscan. It's fine.
Biscan. Thank you for correcting me. I may host the show, but I am not good with names. And so thank you for your patience with that. You are with Riverside Community Care. For those folks who might not be familiar with it, you do serve the Woburn area, but it's not located here in Woburn. Tell us a little bit about what the community center is all about.
Sure. So Riverside Community Care is one of the largest Massachusetts-based nonprofit organizations that provides a wider range of mental health supports for adults, families, and children alike. Today, I wanted to talk to you about what we do for the community of Woburn. We have a program called Riverside CSA. CSA stands for Community Service Agency, and that office is located in Somerville. And what we provide there are intensive care coordination and mental health supports for children and families who may be struggling with significant emotional or behavioral challenges. We don't just service the child, we service the family as a whole. And anybody can be referred to our services simply by contacting the phone number that I can provide. Some examples of some of the families that we assist, especially in today's time, a lot of school-related issues with families trying to manage working from home, perhaps having to teach their kids who are remote. A lot of families have high needs children that are not getting the services and supports that they need. The pandemic in general has made getting the services that people are typically used to being able to access problematic at this point. Generally, our services are home-based, so we come to the home or into the community to serve our clients. Currently, right now, we are serving our clients virtually.
Thank you for that update. And it is not lost on me or the entire community, because I see a lot of discussion about this, that these are challenging times for people, and the level of stress and anxiety that is around certainly triggers concerns that people have. What are some of the sort of particular mental health challenges that people are facing right now as a result of, isolation, being home, economic uncertainty, all the things that, the schooling you started to talk about,
right,
that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I can tell you that in the state of Massachusetts, the level that adults are suffering from depression and anxiety is 3 times more than it was prior to COVID. With children struggling with mental health issues, that's up 50% prior to COVID. I think anxiety and depression are huge factors that people are dealing with right now. People feeling isolated, the inconsistencies that families are facing with whether or not they know if their child's going to be in school from one week to the next. Accessing services has been problematic as well with the pandemic. So having a program like Riverside Community Care that can help families, access and find the resources that they need so that they can, hopefully stabilize is what our mission is. Seeing a lot of families struggling with kids that are becoming extremely depressed, withdrawn, not wanting to attend to remote programming because they just find it too stressful. So a lot of the families that we will help support are those that are looking for some sort of mental health support, whether it's in-home therapy, behavioral therapy in the home. We can provide intensive care coordination, which is a person, or what I would say the team leader, who will come into the home and identify the family's goals and what they're looking for in terms of getting stabilized. That intensive care coordinator kind of takes the pressure off of the family with everything that's going on right now with the pandemic. People are feeling exhausted as it is. So having a person come in who can kind of take that role and determine what services are appropriate for your family, finding those services and getting them in place is a huge benefit. Additionally, some of the things that we can offer if a client meets the criteria is a family partner. And I can speak to a family partner both personally and professionally. I was actually a recipient of the services that CSA in Somerville provides when my 8-year-old son, who's on the autism spectrum and has mental health challenges, was really struggling immensely. The team came in, they were not only able to support my son, but I had 2 other children who were struggling as a result of my son's mental health struggles, and they were able to help us as a whole. A family partner is a person or a parent or caretaker who has lived experience raising a child with mental health challenges or special needs, and they're in place to support the parent or caretaker of the family or the child that may be struggling. They're excellent at helping parents navigate the systems that are available out there in terms of the state agencies. They can help them navigate community supports. One of the biggest things that they are is an ally for the parent, so that that parent doesn't necessarily feel alone in this really challenging time that we're all facing. They can attend meetings with families. They can help parents, understand maybe school issues regarding special needs or IEPs or special needs planning. And it's extremely beneficial service. And that does include the services that we would provide to a family or child that is in need of the services. It's very, very helpful to have people that can come to you and help you find and figure out what you might need. A lot of our families come to us because their child is just depressed or so anxious that they can't leave the house. They may not know what's going on with their child, but they just know that they're struggling. So they can give us a call. We can go through an assessment process with them. And if they qualify for services, we can put this team in place. We really try to make it a family-based team, so the family has the voice and choice, and they work together as a team to figure out what is best needed to assist this family with getting stabilized. And again, the care coordination can speak with schools, they can speak with other providers, just try to coordinate everything for the family to kind of take that stress off.
Well, I think it's a wonderful service. Now, do you serve folks who have, like if somebody has health insurance or they don't have health insurance, what are programs available in both of those cases?
So currently the CESA program, which is actually the CBHI, Children's Behavioral Health Initiative, which is a state mandated program, is insurance-based, and it is insurance-based for those people that have mass health insurance. However, we had just recently started taking some private insurance, depending on the level of service that the family may need, depends on whether or not their insurance company will pay for the services. I would encourage anybody that is having a hard time getting insurance, due to maybe, lack of employment, or perhaps they have a child who has a disability, to definitely look into applying for mass health insurance. Mass Health is the #1 insurance that we do accept for these services. In terms of providing services without insurance, we're not able to do that at this time. So again, I would, encourage anybody that has any questions about insurance, whether or not their insurance is something that would cover these services, they can reach out to our referral line and we will let them know whether or not the services can be provided under the insurance that they have.
That's great to know. And I think folks might not realize, mass health is, and some people pay nothing, some people pay a fee, and there's a lot of options there. And there's some wonderful folks, if you go onto the website and stuff, to help make the process as easy as possible for folks to complete. I won't pretend that it's like, snap your fingers. There's some work to do and such, but
the process can definitely be a little time consuming. But like you said, there are a lot of different programs under Mass Health that people may not be aware that they could qualify for. Even if they already have private insurance, they may be able to qualify for Mass Health as a secondary insurance, depending on what's going on with their child. So I would definitely encourage people to look into that to see if they could qualify. There's all kinds of assistance programs too within Mass Health. If it is going to cost a family a premium, there is a premium assistance program that they could look into. And again, this is a perfect example of what a family partner could help a family member or parent kind of navigate and figure out what supports that they can access within the community so that they can have everything in place that they need for their child that might be struggling.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Before I let you go, the last thing I just wanted to help with, unfortunately, mental health isn't always talked about as openly as other types of health conditions. And with people being a little bit more isolated right now, it might be a little bit harder to pick up on the signal. Some of the things that I might have seen, a teacher might have seen in the classroom, they may not be seeing right now, or other scenarios. What should we as good neighbors and friends look out for to make sure those who might need a little help are getting it?
That's a great question, and I think it's a really important point to bring up. There is some stigma still attached to mental health illnesses and challenges. So what I would recommend, if as a neighborly thing to do, if you have a neighbor who has children and they may be remote and the parents may not be working right now because of the pandemic, and they you see that the child might be having an increase in behaviors that you haven't seen before, or your neighbor says to you, I can't get John out of bed every morning. He just seems not himself, or any type of unusual behaviors, becoming aggressive or dysregulated. I would definitely, I think the neighborly thing to do is maybe share this information with them. There's a community service agency in Somerville that does service the town of Woburn. And, you can call them to get any questions. Anybody can be referred to this agency. And even if you're not sure what's going on with your child or your adolescent, give them a call, discuss it with them, and they can lead you what to the next steps may be. And if they do qualify for services, we kind of take over the reins for that family and help them get the services and the supports and access to the care that they need, so that hopefully whatever crisis or, stabilization that they're facing, we can help them find that stabilization and sustain that stabilization. It's really important that people understand that anybody can contact our community service agency. The phone number is 617-354-1519, and it's extension 114. They just want to make sure that they choose the intensive care coordination and family partner service option, and they can leave a message on our referral line, and the referral coordinator will return a call within 24 hours to obtain the next information that they need and to go from there. But if you see anybody, family members, friends, or somebody that talks about their child or their adolescent struggling, with feeling isolated, not seeing family, not seeing friends, being withdrawn, perhaps not eating, or unfortunately during the pandemic too, we're seeing an increase in child abuse and abusive things going on in homes. So if you know of anybody that's maybe suffered some sort of trauma, another way that you can say to them, listen, Riverside Community Care services families in Woburn. The qualifications is insurance and ages 3 to 20, and they will help with whatever child is struggling and help with the family as a whole, and get the supports in place that you need as a family, and help you navigate the systems and the services so that you can get your child back on track. And maybe if they need to get back into school, or maybe there's an issue with them not being able to access school because of the remote stuff, Riverside Community Care CSA can help families with those issues for sure.
Great. Well, Roberta, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today. I think it's really important that we look out for each other, and it's great to know that there are resources for that. And our producer will get that phone number up on the screen for us.
Excellent.
Go to production. So
great. And I'll be glad to provide, my role is I'm the community engagement specialist, and I will provide my phone number and email address. And any of your viewers, if they have any questions, or they feel they may benefit, or they're not sure they could benefit from the services, they can feel free to contact me directly. I can answer any questions and help them get through to the next step.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Samantha, for having me. You stay healthy.
Thank you. Andrea, I'm so glad that you're going to join us. So sometimes we need some real intervention and some professional services and all kinds of things. And sometimes we just need a home cooked meal that somebody else makes. So Andrea, tell us a little bit about Lasagna Love and how that all got started.
So Lasagna Love was started by one mom in Somerville, Mass, who wanted to help her neighbors who may have been struggling with COVID-related stressors, loss of income or the remote stuff with the kids. And so Rhiannon would just deliver hot meals to the people in her neighborhood, and really it took on a life of its own. And now we span the United States in 36 of the states, delivering home-cooked meals every week to families who might need a little relief.
You know, I tell you, I don't actually know of any families who don't need a relief. So, right, I think it is such a wonderful way for people to give back, but also to really help people and just put a smile on people's face and just give that little bit of, you know, just having dinner made that time can be incredible. Tell us a little bit about, you know, sort of in the week, how many families we're helping right now and how people can get involved.
So when we started serving Woburn and the area around Woburn, word was slow to get out, but I'm happy to say by the end of this week, we will have serviced or fed over 100 families in the Reading Woburn region. So that's 100 lasagnas going on the plate, on the tables of these families who are feeling overwhelmed.
I love it. And for those folks who might want to cook a meal, is it like a standard meal that's served? Can they cook what they're comfortable with? How does it work?
So you sign up to be a lasagna mama or a papa, and you know, we typically offer lasagna, but if a family, say, has a gluten allergy or, you know, they don't want a lasagna, some of the mamas and papas are able to make and accommodate different meals and specific allergies. Our recipe, we do try to hide some vegetables in there for veggie-averse kids.
Very sneaky of you.
Yeah, so you know, the Lasagna Love recipe, you know, features some vegetables, but a lot of people have their own family recipe that they've been making for generations. And the meal, you know, sometimes it's just a lasagna, which is great. Sometimes it's a lasagna, garlic bread, salad, and a dessert, you know, depending on what that particular mama or papa is up for that week. But it's a contact-free delivery right to their front door, and all they have to do is fill out a form on the Lasagna Love website, and I'll take it from there.
I just think this is so wonderful. And so you both serve people who can request for their own family, but also people may nominate friends or neighbors or others who they know could use a little bit of a break.
Right. So when someone gets nominated, they'll get a text message from Lasagna Love saying, you've been nominated by so-and-so. Do you accept this? And then they fill out the form saying, you know, where they are and if they have any allergies. And then from there, it gets assigned to a lasagna mama or papa for delivery later in the week.
That's so amazing. And the mamas and papas who are cooking are really doing such wonderful work. Do you see people sort of rotate in different weeks, or do you mostly have people who are doing it on a recurring basis?
So it's a mixed bag. We have a lot of people who sign up to, you know, make one lasagna one time. And then we have some people who turn out 3 lasagnas a week. So, you know, it really depends on, the commitment is entirely, you know, your own. If you can do one lasagna once, great, we'll take it, we love it. If you can do 3-4 a week, that's great. And then we get donations too. So if there's a lasagna mama or papa who, you know, wants to make 4 or 5 lasagnas a week, but it's, you know, financially limiting for them, then we can send them along a Market Basket gift card or Stop and Shop, whatever, and they can use those funds to purchase, because all of the lasagna ingredients come out of the mamas and papas pockets.
That was going to be my next question. So thank you for answering that. So for those folks who, like my husband, could never make a lasagna, I don't care how good the recipe is, we wouldn't do that to people. It's great to know that there's other ways that people can contribute and such. Do the folks who are cooking do the delivery, or is that done by someone else?
They do the delivery too. So they'll text their family and say, you know, I'm happy to make you a lasagna this week. You know, I was thinking of delivering Thursday or Friday, you know, what works best for you. And then it's a contact-free delivery. We just shoot you a text when it's there. And then, you know, we can either make it already baked and hot, or, you know, we can leave it for you to bake so it's hot for when you need it. But really, we love working with the families and figuring out what they need and what works best for them.
Honestly, I'm just so touched by this. I think it's such a wonderful idea, and I'm so glad that you are helping serve this community. And I hope there's lots of additional mamas and papas cooking, and lots of families who let themselves have a break and enjoy a nice, fabulous meal that someone else cooks on their behalf.
Yeah. It's been great. And I think, you know, a lot of times people are thinking, well, do I deserve this? Yes, you do. You know, this is a really trying time for a lot of people. You know, I'm a family partner, so, you know, I see firsthand the difficulties going on in the world. So, you know, it's been nice to give back to the community in this way.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you raised that, because I think there's a lot of times that people will hesitate to feel that, and it's just, I can just do it. But what a great opportunity for the community to get some love, and what a great way to help out during a challenging time. Where's the form that people can fill out?
lasagnalove.org, and there's a little request button at the top. You hit that, pop in your info. You'll see a lasagna probably in a week or two.
That is amazing. I really, really love it. Thank you. Anything else that we should know?
Sign up to get your lasagna. I mean, it's no fees, no strings, no catch.
Just neighbors helping neighbors. I think
Neighbors
it is
helping neighbors.
incredible. Thank you so much. And thank you all of you for watching. As always, please continue to take care of each other. We've got 2 additional new ways that we talked about today, both through Riverside. If you need more structured help on an ongoing basis with mental health or not knowing where to turn, it's an incredible organization that serves a ton of people in the community. And if you just need a dinner one night, or someone who does and just needs a break, and that probably includes most of us these days, Lasagna Love is an incredible opportunity. If you love to cook and you want to join in and help supply a dinner, there's an also great. And if none of that works for you, but you really want to support the organization, Andrea does accept gift cards and such to help defray the costs for the people who are feeding us through their kitchens.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you so much. And as always, we're going to continue to take good care of each other.